Day I moved in with my husband, his mother handed me a schedule and said, "This is how you'll run the house, just like I do." My husband nodded and said, "She's right. Follow it." I smiled and handed him my own paper. He read it, and suddenly begged me not to leave. I married Brian 6 months ago. We met during college in Austin, Texas. He was charming, sweet, and always talked about how close he was to his mom, Anita. At the time, I thought it was adorable. My own mom passed when I was a teen, so watching him call her every night and be so involved in her life seemed wholesome. It made me feel safe, like this guy came from a good home. I thought Anita would be someone I could call mom someday too. Fast forward to our wedding, a small, low-budget ceremony in the hill country. No drama, just close friends, some wine, and dancing under string lights. The plan was to stay temporarily at Brian's childhood home while we saved for our own place. I agreed. Rent is insane in San Antonio, and we were trying to be smart. So after the honeymoon, we packed up and drove down to his family's house. The moment we pulled into the driveway, I felt like I was walking into something off. Anita was standing outside waiting for us, not smiling, not waving, just standing there holding something. She didn't say welcome home, no hug, no how was the trip. Instead, she said, "Here, this is how you'll run the house, just like I do." I looked down. It was a color-coded, laminated house schedule. I laughed out loud. I thought it was a joke. Maybe this was some weird southern hazing ritual. Maybe she wanted to test me. Then Brian stepped beside her and said, "She's right. Follow it." Just like that, stone-faced, no wink. No grin, he meant it. Something snapped in me. Let me paint the picture clearly, this was not a list of chores. It was a military-grade, hour-by-hour breakdown of how I was supposed to run her household. Not our household, hers. The schedule. Weekdays. 5:30 a.m. wake up, laundry starts by 5:45. 6 a.m. breakfast cooked and ready. 7 a.m. Anita gets coffee served to her. 7:30 a.m. clean all 3 bathrooms. 8:30 a.m. grocery planning. 10 a.m. vacuum and mop entire downstairs and upstairs. 12 p.m. prepare lunch. 1 p.m. iron clothes. 2 p.m. bake something sweet. 3:30 p.m. fold all laundry. Put away his and her laundry, not theirs, mine and Brian's. Hers stayed in her room. I fold my own things. She said, "You're not there yet." 4:30 p.m. dinner prep begins. 6 p.m. dinner served. 7 p.m. clean up dishes, wipe surfaces. 8 p.m. free time. Weekends. Deep cleaning days. Sundays were for spa prep, which meant setting up the living room like a spa, lighting candles, running her a bath, then massaging her feet. I wish I was joking. I turned to Brian and said, "You're not serious, right?" His exact words were, "You're part of the family now. We all have roles, this is yours." I don't know what face I made, but Anita immediately stepped forward and said, "If this is going to be a problem, I suggest you go back to your mother's." That's when Brian stepped closer to her, not me. He didn't say anything to defend me. Didn't try to explain or soften anything. Just stood there. That's when I knew, I was alone in this house. So I smiled, I nodded, and I said absolutely. I'll take this seriously. I lay awake in the guest room they assigned me. Yes, the guest room. They said we would get the master once I had proven myself as a wife, like it was some twisted promotion ladder. I looked at the ceiling and made a decision. If they wanted schedules, I'd give them one. So I typed my own on my laptop at 3 a.m. I created a schedule titled Exit Plan. Day 1, play along, don't resist. Let them feel in control. Day 2, begin collecting screenshots, conversations, rules, recordings. Day 3, pack essentials in a bag. Leave the rest. Day 4, speak to a lawyer. Day 5, mail this schedule to Brian and his mother with a note, "Thanks for the experience." I printed it, folded it, and put it in my suitcase. I followed the schedule. I got up early, cooked eggs and toast, and served Anita her coffee just the way she wanted, 1 sugar, 1 cream, in a glass mug, not ceramic. Brian left for work at 7:45 a.m. He didn't even look at me. Anita walked behind me the whole morning, nitpicking. Use the vacuum on the curtains too. Didn't I mention that? Don't fold like that, Brian likes his shirts stacked vertically. Did you check the temperature of the fridge? We do that twice a day. I nodded, said nothing. By 2:30 p.m., I started recording on my phone. I placed it on the table, recording voice memos. I got her on tape saying, "You'll never run this house like I do. But if you try hard enough, maybe Brian won't leave you like his last girlfriend." Wait, what? That night, after she went to bed, I went to the downstairs computer room and did a little digging. I found Anita's old emails, printed and left on the desk. Curiosity got the better of me. The subject line of one email read, about Brian's last engagement. I clicked it. Apparently, Brian had been engaged before. It ended after 2 months of living with Anita. There was mention of boundary issues, emotional pressure, and even a mild breakdown. The girl, her name wasn't listed, accused Anita of gaslighting and controlling behavior. Brian took his mother's side. Sound familiar? I woke up at 5:30 a.m., got dressed, wrote a short note, and taped it to the fridge. I'm stepping out for a few errands. Be back soon. I didn't come back. I had already packed my suitcase and left it in the car. I drove straight to a hotel, called my cousin in Houston, she's a lawyer, and sent her everything. She called me back 30 minutes later and said, "You need to get out completely. You have everything you need. Let's hit them hard." That night, I texted Brian. I left a new schedule on the table. Read it. He did. He called me, crying. I didn't answer. I wanted to. I wanted to believe the tears meant something, that maybe he'd seen the light, that maybe he realized what he had allowed. Instead, I sent him one text. "You can email me when you're ready to speak like a grown man. Until then, I need space." Then I blocked his number. I was staying at a Holiday Inn near the airport. Nothing fancy, but I needed time to breathe. 2 days passed. I didn't hear from either of them. Then, one morning, I opened the door to my hotel room to grab the food I had ordered. And Anita was standing right there, holding a casserole dish wrapped in foil. Her face was calm, too calm. She said, "I figured you'd be here. Brian was worried, he hasn't eaten in days." I stared at her, my body froze. I asked, "How did you find me?" She smiled and said, "I always keep track of my family." Then she pushed the casserole into my hands. I didn't take it. Now you can watch the second part by pressing share and more.